Hey, what's up, comic fans? Mr. Q Comics back with some more show and tell. Okay, today I've got a stack of books I picked up early in April. I hit up a local collectible show that I've hit up many, many times before. There's one particular dealer I like to buy from. And then I hit a bunch of shops while I was traveling for work that week. So before we dive into the haul, guys, if you're a fan of haul videos, please do me a favor. Go down below, hit the like button, hit subscribe, and leave me some comments. Let me know what you think about these pickups. All right, we will start with the collectible show. This is a vendor I've been buying from for years. I didn't have a ton of stuff this time. They've been selling a lot more of their stuff on Whatnot, so they're not bringing as much of their newer inventory to the shows, but I did find a few cool books. We will start with Batman number 17. This is from New 52, just a cool Greg Capullo cover. I don't think it's worth a ton. Next, we have got a cool nostalgia book for me, Conan the Destroyer, number 1. This is a newsstand copy. It's Bob Camp on the cover, and of course, it's the the movie poster from the movie in 1984, which I loved these as a kid. I think the Conan movies were one of the things that really got me into kind of fantasy art. So, not an expensive book, just a complete nostalgia buy for me. And next we have got another nostalgia buy. We've got Count Duckula, number 1. Again, not an expensive book, but I grew up with these cartoons. I remember watching these, DuckTales, all this stuff like that. So had to grab that. And let's see. Next we have got a cool J. Scott Campbell cover. I had not seen this before. It is Planet of the Apes, The Human War, number 3. I think that's the cover, right? Not an expensive book. This was only $2. I had never seen it, and I love collecting Campbell covers. Probably VF near mid-range, but I looked it up on eBay. Not really a pricey book at all. But early Campbell, I think it's 2001, is the cover date on this. And, of course, had to get some McFarlane. He had a pretty decent copy of ASM 305. This is a newsstand copy. I don't have most of these in the newsstand. Most of them I usually keep the direct ones, but I started kind of picking up the newsstand ones when I find them cheap. This is probably in the high VF range, and it was only $6, so I thought that was an affordable copy. And finally, from this dealer, the best book I picked up from him, he's had a bunch of slabs, but a lot of his stuff has been priced kind of high, and I think he's willing to hold on to a lot more of his stuff since everything's dipped a bit. But he did have this Golden Age book, Spitfire Comics. Let's push the stand back here. This is issue 132, Elliott Publications from 1944. I thought that was a great book. It's a 5.0 creamed off-white pages. Never seen this before. Typically don't target these type of World War II books where it's, dogfight scenes like this. But I thought it was a very cool cover and a great grade for the age, and it was only $103 is what it worked out to. He always gives you like a discount when you buy a bunch of stuff, so I thought that was a great price. I don't know what it goes for, but I thought anything this grade, World War II theme, this old for $100, I thought was a great price. So happy to snag that. And finally, this is from a different vendor. This is a guy I actually see all the time when we're out hunting locally at shows and other comic shops, but it is Vampirella number 11. There's so many volumes of this. This is from Dynamite. I believe it's volume 5, and I think this is one of the store variants. I can't remember if it's Frankie's Comics. It might be. I could have that wrong, but again, I collect Hughes covers as well, and this is a gorgeous copy, near mint condition. I think he gave it to me for $20, which I think is about what it is worth, so happy to add that to the cover art collection. All right, next we will move to, I can't remember where this was. Actually, you know what? This shop was in Massachusetts. I'm forgetting where. It's Comically Speaking, and I had hit them up. I think I hit them on a Monday, and they had just finished up like a 50% off back issue sale. So the guy still honored his prices for me, which I thought was awesome. I grabbed $2. This is one I have been looking for a long time. I picked it up a few times, put it back because I thought the price was too high. But one of those quirky DC books I've just been dying to have. It is Action Comics 256. This is, I just call it the penis head cover. I think it is absolutely hysterical. I love this cover. It is Kurt Swan cover from 1959. This is a, mid-grade, probably VG fine, I would say. maybe a VG plus, but worked out to 34 bucks, which I thought was a great price. I've picked this up a few times and I think it's priced just way too high, but I think this is just one of those absolutely hysterical DC covers from the Silver Age. So super stoked to get that. And I also grabbed a copy of Detective Comics number 312. I think this is an early Clayface appearance. I don't really know if it's key, but again, decent shape. It's Sheldon Moldoff on the cover from 1963. Probably a fine, fine plus, something like that. And it worked out to about 66 bucks, which I thought was a great deal. So really happy to add those two to the collection. Next, we will move to, I think I was in Jersey. I am pretty sure. I can't remember. I think I was bouncing around a lot this week, but I hit up a shop called Ron's Comic World. Again, I think it was in Jersey. Grabbed a few dollar books. I'm not showing them all off here because I picked up a few for my kid as well, but we've got $20.99 Unlimited. That's the first appearance of Hulk $20.99. I think that's in good shape. I think it was in near mint condition. Next, we have got a copy of All New, All Different Avengers. I don't know if this is the first appearance. I think she appeared in some sort of preview, a free comic day preview, but I guess it's the second appearance and first cover appearance of Nadia Pym as the Wasp. I guess technically spec book, spec seems to be really cold, obviously, post-COVID, but this book at one point, I'm sure, was much more expensive, but I figured for $1, what the heck? Next, I grabbed just a couple of Mike Zeck covers that I love. I think I needed this one. This is in rough shape. This is 272 from Captain America. He did a whole bunch of covers on Captain America. Of course, that awesome annual 10, I think, with Wolverine. But this is rough. VG range, but I didn't have it. So for $1, I figured it was worth it as a placeholder. And then I got a copy of 273. Which, again, I just love Mike Zeck art. These are not expensive books. These are not key books, but I love Zeck covers, and you can find them on a handful of runs on these Bronze and Copper Age books that I just think are fun to collect. Next, we've got a couple of John Byrne covers. Alpha Flight number 13. Again, not an expensive book, but probably my favorite book in the run. I love this cover. I've always loved this cover. This is in good shape. Near mint range on this. And another one, we've got Wolverine 21. Again, not really pricey books, but I just love these John Byrne covers. This one also in near mint condition, so I thought those were great pickups for $1, and I'm pretty sure I have both of those, but I'm a sucker for buying repeat books when I find them cheap. Next is a book. I have no idea what this is. I honestly grabbed it because it's signed. It is Universe number 1. I don't even know if this is the cover A. He had this at $6. It's in near mint condition, and it is signed by David Finch, and I forget who the writer is. Signed by David Finch and Paul Jenkins. So, okay, I marked it as VF near mint, but I thought that was great for $6. I'm not a huge fan of signed books. I don't know what this is, but I figured that was a pretty good pickup for $6. So, happy to grab that. Next, he had a Golden Age book I thought was pretty cool. This is, I believe it's 4-color. 157. Mickey Mouse and the Beanstalk. Pretty decent shape. What did he have this at? I got this for $15. It's probably in the VG range. Covers by Don Gunn from 1957. Disney books, can be hit or miss. Obviously, when you get into the 40s, they can be really pricey. But I thought that was in pretty solid shape for $15. So I was happy to grab that one. Next, I love this cover. This is another McFarlane one. I was hoping it was in better shape when I grabbed it, but it is All-Star Squadron number 47. Probably mid-grade. I think it's got like some foxing and discoloration on the back, but it's the origin of Dr. Fate. Of course, McFarlane from, what year is this? 1985. So I think I'm probably going to give this to my youngest. My son's 9, and he's just finally starting to get into comics. He has been interested in Dr. Fate ever since we saw the Black Adam movie. So I figure this is one he will appreciate having. And it's, it's a solid reader copy, so I don't have to worry about him destroying it. So that one will go into his collection, but I'm a sucker for that McFarlane cover whenever I find it. And finally from this shop, just an awesome Adam Hughes cover. I don't have a ton of these Tomb Raider books, but I found Tomb Raider number 49. I was looking through this and realized, man, I only have like 3 or 4 of his Tomb Raider covers. For some reason, they are really tough for me to find. on the cheap. I'm not buying them on eBay for 25, 30 bucks a pop. But this one was, I lost my place. He had this for $8, and this is probably VF near mint to near mint range. Again, Hughes from 2005. So for me, I'm happy to pay for those covers in that range. Once they start getting into the $20, $25 range, I'm usually too cheap to pay up for books that I'm just paying, buying for the cover. At least for the lower end ones, I'll call them. I mean, some of these I know can be pricey, but I thought that is an awesome Hughes cover. So really psyched to add that into my cover art collection. All right, next, I think I swung up to Connecticut. I forget where this is. Was more of a card shop, but he had a bunch of books as well. It's DJ Sports Collectibles. So again, he had a ton of sports cards. I think I ended up picking up some cards for my next door neighbor's kid. It's his birthday. And he's a huge football fan, but wasn't into sports cards. So I got him a box of football cards and a binder, which he was stoked about. And I was able to pick up a couple of books as well. This is a Frazetta cover I did not have. It's not in great shape, but it's Epic Illustrated #1. Probably mid-grade. Just a cool Frazetta cover. Not a pricey book either. I mean, maybe in near mint condition, it's worth a lot, but I probably actually overpaid. I think I paid $20 for this, and it was probably a little more than it's actually worth. But still, I didn't have it, and I love Frazetta's art, so I was happy to grab that. And the second book I grabbed from him was just a really clean copy of Amazing Spider-Man #100. Well, not super clean. It's a little tan. It's got some dust shadow going on, but it is a pretty nice copy. I put it down in the VF range, and I think it worked out to, when he gave me a discount, $170 on this. So I think a VF copy is probably worth a little bit more than that. So I was really happy to grab that. I thought it was a fair price and a gorgeous book. So absolutely love this Romita Classic cover. So happy to grab that anytime I can find an affordable copy. Definitely in better condition than the one I have. All right, so let's see. Final 4 books left. This was also in Connecticut. This is Most Excellent Comics and Gaming. A lot of you guys have probably heard of them. That was a huge shop. Ton of statues, ton of gaming stuff. I mean, I didn't even venture into the back of the store. Seemed to be more of a gaming shop, though. He had a ton of back issues, but there wasn't. He had some wall books. It was a little bit, I found a little confusing to kind of find books. He kind of has 2, maybe like 4 boxes closer to the front that seemed to be the newer stuff. A lot of stuff was overpriced, but I did find a few good deals in there. He wasn't super flexible at all on pricing. I don't think he was up for kind of bartering or negotiating, but I did find a copy of Rocketeer Adventure Magazine #1. Cool Dave Stevens cover. Again, not a super expensive Stevens cover. Of course, the Good Girl art covers are the ones that go for the most, but this is from 1988 and probably VF range. I paid $12, which is probably a little too high for that. I don't know if there actually talks about making another movie for this, or redoing the movie, and maybe that's part of what's drawing attention to Dave Stevens. I really think it is just that documentary, which is fantastic. I think I've mentioned it before. Highly recommend checking that out. But still, happy to grab Dave Stevens covers anytime I find them. And then this I thought the best buy he had in the boxes there, but it's Amazing Spider-Man #239. Always love this one. Gorgeous cover. John Romita Jr. and Al Milgrom. Of course, this is the second appearance of the Hobgoblin. This is in great shape, near mint shape, and that was $18. So I thought that was a great deal. So happy to grab that one. Again, I think I have a copy, but I love that one. I've always loved the Hobgoblin. Definitely one of my top Spidey villains. So, all right, next. I think I went back to New Jersey after Connecticut. I was bouncing around all over the place. This was in Jersey. It's called the Toy and Comic Spot. I can't remember. I think I was out close to the Jersey Shore. Very cool shop. I think the guy said he'd only been open about a year, if I'm not mistaken. But he had a ton of great books. I ended up picking up 2 because there was one awesome Golden Age I wanted, but did score another Dave Stevens cover there. We've got Alien Worlds #2. Pacific Comics 1982. This one, probably in the VF range, worked out to about $20, which I thought was a great price. Again, these books were books. I mean, I've got a better copy of this, but I think I found it for $1. Like most of my Dave Stevens stuff I was able to find in dollar bins years ago. But man, all of his stuff has skyrocketed in the past 6 months, maybe a year. I mean, I went to a convention last month as well, and holy cow, everyone had Dave Stevens, and every book was, hundreds. I thought it was crazy, but still, phenomenal artwork. Obviously, people are catching on. Absolutely one of my all-time favorite cover artists. So always happy to find affordable copies of his work. And finally, this was the book I really wanted. I thought this was a great price. Again, some of these shops, when I go in and they have Golden Age books, they're expensive, but I find that some of the best deals I'm finding in shops are on Golden Age because they seem to be priced under, fair market value, at least in my experience, at a lot of these shops. And most people still continue to chase the Marvel Silver Age keys, the Bronze or Copper Age keys. Again, people still seem to be going after what's tied to the MCU. So, I find great deals on Golden Age books, not at conventions, but at local shops where maybe they have one or two, or you ask and they've got a box out back, and after you break the ice, maybe they're willing to show you. So this guy gave me a great deal, I thought, on this. This is World's Finest Comics, number 6. I actually brought this to the comic show I went to a week after as a potential trade, and definitely some of the people were interested in it, but I ended up holding on to it. Again, World's Finest, number 6, the summer issue. It's low grade. I mean, it's one of those thick cardstock covers from World's Finest, so you can see there's a ton of creasing on it. But a cool, World War II, men in uniform cover with Superman, Batman, and Robin. Did not write down the date on this, I forget, or who did the cover, but still, great price on it. I thought $280 is what it worked out to. So I thought $300 for those two books together was a great deal. So I am super stoked to have that one. So that is it for the haul, guys. I will do my best to remember to put links for these shops in my description. Again, if you're a fan of these videos, hit the like button, hit subscribe, leave me some comments, and I'll see you soon.